Alien arrival. The sky over Earth seemed normal that day, calm, blue, and peaceful. People went about their daily routines, unaware that something enormous was about to happen. High above the clouds, far beyond the reach of human eyes, something dark and massive moved through space. An alien fleet, unlike anything humanity had ever seen, was closing in on Earth. The alien ships were sleek, shining with strange metals, and their massive size made Earth's satellites look like toys. Inside the leading ship, alien commanders sat in their control room, watching holograms of Earth with smug satisfaction. These beings had traveled from the farthest reaches of the galaxy, conquering planets without mercy. Earth was just the next on their list. Pathetic, one alien commander said, looking at the image of Earth's old warships floating in orbit. The ships, once part of Earth's proud defense, had been left to rust for decades. They were considered relics, outdated, and useless. The aliens laughed, their sharp teeth glinting under the strange lights of their ship. To them, Earth was weak, and its defenses were nothing to fear. Another commander, with glowing green eyes, studied the old warships. "These human ships haven't moved in years," he said. "They don't stand a chance." The fleet drew closer to Earth, and the ships began positioning themselves for an easy victory. The alien commanders had seen this kind of thing before. Every planet they attacked thought it could defend itself, but in the end, none of them stood a chance. Earth, they believed, would fall just as easily. Back on Earth, the human governments had spotted the approaching fleet on their radars. At first, they thought it was a mistake. Nothing that big had ever entered Earth's atmosphere before. But as the readings became clearer, panic set in. The alien ships were massive, far larger than anything humanity could ever hope to build. And there were dozens of them. In underground bunkers, human leaders gathered to discuss what to do. The room was filled with tense whispers and worried looks. Some were in disbelief. How could this be happening? The Earth's military was nowhere near prepared for a fight like this. Others were furious. How did we not see this coming? One general demanded, slamming his fist on the table. The president, a calm but stern woman, stood at the center of the room. She had seen the images of the alien fleet, and she knew the situation was dire. "We have no choice," she said, her voice steady. "We must try to power up the old fleet." Murmurs of disagreement filled the room. The ancient warships hadn't been used in years. Some were barely holding together. They had been built during a time when humanity was preparing for war, but peace had come, and the ships had been left to rot. One military advisor, a tall man with silver hair, shook his head. "Those ships won't stand a chance against something like this." "We don't have any other options," the president replied. "It's either those ships or nothing." Meanwhile, the alien fleet had started to circle the Earth. The ships moved like sharks hunting prey, positioning themselves around the planet. The aliens were in no rush. They were confident this battle would be over in a matter of hours. Their weapon systems were far more advanced than anything Earth had. "We'll crush them," one alien officer said. "The humans won't even know what hit them." Inside the lead ship, the alien commander stood tall, his dark, metallic armor reflecting the dim light of the control room. "Begin the attack," he ordered, his voice cold and calculating. The alien ships charged their weapons, beams of bright energy forming at their tips. Earth's old warships sat quietly in space, seemingly dead and powerless. The aliens, sure of their victory, laughed again. They had no idea that something unexpected was about to happen. Back on Earth, deep inside the underground bunkers, alarms began to sound. Engineers rushed to their stations, frantically working to bring the ancient warships online. There was no time to waste. If they didn't succeed, Earth would fall. And so, the stage was set. The aliens were ready to strike, and the humans were preparing for a last-ditch effort. The relic fleet, long forgotten and mocked by many, was about to get its chance to prove everyone wrong. Human panic. The alien fleet's arrival above Earth didn't stay a secret for long. Within hours, Governments across the world were scrambling to understand what was happening. Satellite images showed massive alien ships hovering just outside Earth's atmosphere, blocking out stars with their enormous shadows. In underground military bunkers, the mood was tense, almost frozen with fear. In the command center beneath the Earth's surface, the President of the United Nations, Sarah King, stood with her arms crossed, staring at the large screen in front of her. The radar blips showing the alien ships seemed to mock them. Every few seconds, the radar updated, showing more ships arriving. Dozens of them. Too many for Earth to handle. What do we do? One general asked, his voice trembling slightly. He wasn't alone. The entire room was filled with military officers and world leaders, all staring in disbelief at the approaching alien fleet. President King took a deep breath. "We need options," she said firmly, trying to stay calm. But deep inside, she knew the truth. There were no good options. Earth's defense systems were outdated, their fleets unused for years. Even their most advanced technology paled in comparison to what they were seeing on the screens. "We could try negotiating," suggested an ambassador from one of the larger countries. "Maybe they're just here to communicate." Another general scoffed. "Look at those ships. They didn't come here to talk. They came to conquer." The room fell silent. Everyone knew he was right. The alien fleet hadn't made any effort to communicate. They hadn't sent messages or signals. They had simply appeared, massive and unstoppable, like predators circling their prey. The head of Earth's space defense, General Marcus Reed, cleared his throat. "Madam President, the Relic Fleet is our only hope." The Relic Fleet. It had been the pride of Earth's defense once, long ago. Dozens of massive warships, each equipped with weapons powerful enough to defend against any threat. But that was years ago. Since then, the ships had been abandoned, floating in Earth's orbit like ghosts of the past. No one had used them in decades. "They haven't been activated in over 30 years, said another officer. "There's no way they're still operational." "We don't have a choice," General Reed insisted. "It's either we try to bring them online or we surrender." President King stared at the screen, her mind racing. The alien ships were getting closer. They didn't have much time. "Do we even know if we can power them up?" she asked, turning to her chief engineer, a quiet man named Dr. Alan Pierce. Dr. Pierce looked nervous. "We can try, but it's risky. The technology is old, and we haven't run tests in years." "Risky is better than nothing," President King said. "Do it. Get those ships online." Immediately, the command center sprang into action. Technicians rushed to their stations, contacting engineers aboard the old space stations where the Relic Fleet was docked. Alarms echoed through the underground bunker as the team scrambled to bring the ancient ships back to life. Meanwhile, panic had already started to spread among the public. News of the alien fleet leaked out, and soon people across the world were glued to their televisions and phones, watching live broadcasts of the alien invasion. Fear spread like wildfire. Cities fell into chaos as people rushed to stores, buying up supplies, unsure if the world was about to end. In New York, the streets were filled with honking cars, people yelling at each other, and sirens wailing in the distance. News helicopters circled above, capturing the chaos below. The same scenes were playing out in major cities all over the globe. Back in the command center, the situation was just as frantic. Technicians worked at breakneck speed, trying to connect to the Relic Fleet's systems, but with every passing second, the alien ships moved closer. "We've lost contact with Station 12, a technician shouted. "Get it back online," General Reed barked. Sweat dripped down the faces of the engineers as they frantically worked, typing commands into their consoles, trying to revive the ancient warships. The pressure was overwhelming. One wrong move and the entire fleet could remain dead in space, useless against the alien invasion. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Dr. Pierce looked up from his console. "We've got power," he said, his voice shaking with both relief and fear. On the radar screen, a new set of blips appeared. The relic fleet was online, powered up and ready for battle. The old warships, long forgotten and mocked by many, were humanity's last hope. The power of the relic fleet. The relic fleet had been nothing more than a memory, a collection of forgotten ships floating silently above Earth. For decades, they had drifted in space, rusting away under the cold darkness of the stars. No one had thought they would ever be needed again. But now, with the alien armada closing in, those old ships were humanity's only hope. Inside the underground command center, the tension was thick. The relic fleet had been powered up, but no one knew if it would actually work. Years of neglect had taken their toll, and the technology was old, very old. "Are the systems stable?" President King asked, her voice tight with worry. Dr. Pierce, the chief engineer, nodded slowly. "We've managed to power up the fleet, but the systems are outdated. It's going to be tough, but the ships are operational." His hand shook as he typed commands into his console. The weight of the situation was clear. One small mistake, and the entire fleet could fail. On the screen, the relic warships, long abandoned and forgotten, now showed signs of life. Lights flickered on along their hulls, and their engines rumbled back to life. These ships had been designed during a time when humanity feared an invasion from beyond the stars, a time when Earth had prepared for the worst. But as the years went by, peace had come, and the warships had been left to rot. Now, they were waking up again, like sleeping giants ready to protect their home. The lead ship of the relic fleet, the Sentinel, was the first to fully power up. It was an enormous vessel, much larger than any of the modern ships still in use by Earth's military. Its hull was thick and covered in old battle scars from long-forgotten skirmishes. But now, as its systems came online, it became clear that the Sentinel still had a lot of fight left in it. "This is incredible," whispered one of the technicians, staring at the screen in awe. "These ships, they're way more advanced than we thought." Dr. Pierce nodded. The engineers who built these ships were ahead of their time. "There are weapons on board that we don't even have the blueprints for anymore." General Reed, standing with his arms crossed, smiled grimly. "Good. We're going to need every bit of firepower we can get." Out in space, the alien fleet had noticed the human warships powering up. The alien commanders, watching from their sleek control rooms, couldn't believe what they were seeing. The old human ships, which they had mocked only moments ago, were now lighting up with energy. But the aliens weren't worried. To them, these ships were still just relics, outdated and weak. "They're just delaying the inevitable," one alien officer sneered. "Those ships are no match for us." The lead alien commander, a tall figure with glowing blue skin, nodded. "Proceed with the attack. Let's crush them." But as the alien ships moved in, something unexpected happened. The human warships, now fully operational, moved into formation. The Sentinel led the charge, its engines burning bright as it positioned itself between Earth and the alien fleet. The other relic ships followed, forming a defensive wall in front of the planet. The aliens opened fire first, their advanced weaponry launching beams of bright energy toward the human fleet. But the relic ships were ready. The Sentinel's shields flared to life, absorbing the alien blasts like they were nothing. Other ships in the fleet followed suit, their shields holding strong against the alien assault. Then the humans struck back. The Sentinel fired its main cannon, a massive energy weapon that had been hidden deep within its core. The blast shot through space, tearing through one of the alien ships like it was made of paper. The alien commanders froze, shocked by the sheer power of the human warship. "How is that possible?" one of them whispered, fear creeping into his voice. Back in the command center, cheers erupted. The humans had landed their first hit, and it was a devastating one. President King, watching the battle unfold, allowed herself a small smile. "It's working," she said softly. "The fleet is working." The alien ships, now fully aware of the threat the relic fleet posed, scrambled to adjust their strategy. But it was too late. The power of the human warships had been unleashed, and they weren't going to stop. Out in space, the relic fleet pressed forward, their weapons lighting up the dark sky. Earth's forgotten fleet, once mocked and abandoned, had come to life, and it was ready to fight. First battle. The tension in the underground command center was electric. All eyes were glued to the large screen that showed the alien fleet and Earth's relic warships facing each other in space. The relic fleet had powered up, and their ancient engines hummed with a life long forgotten. But now it was time for the first real test. "Here they come," General Reed said, his eyes fixed on the screen. Out in space, the alien fleet moved first. The sleek, glowing alien ships shot forward like arrows, their weapons primed and ready to fire. The alien commanders believed this would be an easy victory. They still didn't see the relic fleet as a serious threat. After all, these were old, rusted ships that hadn't been used in years. How could they stand against the most advanced armada in the galaxy? The first alien ship fired, a bright beam of energy shooting across the dark sky. It headed straight for the Sentinel, the lead ship of the human fleet. The command center held its breath. But the Sentinel was ready, its shields activated just in time, glowing a deep blue as they absorbed the alien blast. The energy rippled across the shield, but the ship remained unharmed. A sigh of relief swept through the command center. "Shields are holding," one of the technicians said, excitement in his voice. "Now hit them back," General Reed ordered. The Sentinel responded, its massive main cannon lighting up as it prepared to fire. The relic warship unleashed a devastating energy blast that shot through space like lightning. The beam struck one of the alien ships, slicing through its hull with terrifying power. The alien ship exploded in a ball of fire, debris scattering into the darkness. Cheers erupted in the command center. They had landed the first blow. Earth wasn't as helpless as the aliens had thought. "Good hit," President King said, her voice filled with hope. "Keep pressing them." In space, the relic fleet was coming alive. One by one, the old warships locked onto their targets, firing their ancient but powerful weapons. Beams of energy and missiles lit up the sky, creating a chaotic dance of fire and destruction. The alien ships, caught off guard by the sudden power of the human fleet, scrambled to defend themselves. But the humans weren't stopping. The Sentinel, leading the charge, moved through the alien fleet with calculated precision. Its weapons blasted through alien defenses with ease, taking down ships one after another. Inside the alien command ship, there was panic. The commander, tall and menacing with glowing blue skin, watched in disbelief as his ships were destroyed. "How are they doing this?" he growled, slamming his fist against the control panel. "These are supposed to be ancient ships." The alien officers looked at each other nervously. "Their technology, it's more advanced than we thought." The alien fleet retaliated, their weapons firing in all directions. They unleashed everything they had: energy beams, plasma cannons, missiles. The sky was a storm of destruction, but the relic fleet held strong. Their shields, long forgotten but now fully operational, absorbed the alien attacks with incredible strength. One alien ship broke through and aimed straight for a smaller human warship on the edge of the formation. The alien ship fired its cannons, and the human ship's shields flickered under the pressure. For a moment, it seemed like the alien ship would overpower it. But just before the alien ship could deliver the final blow, the Sentinel turned its attention to the threat. With one precise shot, it blasted the alien ship out of existence, saving the smaller warship. Back on Earth, the command center was buzzing with activity. The humans were holding their ground, but they knew this was just the beginning. The alien fleet still had the numbers, and the battle was far from over. "We need to stay focused," President King said, her eyes sharp. "This is only the first wave." Out in space, the relic fleet continued to fight, their weapons firing with a deadly rhythm. The humans had surprised the aliens, but the real test was yet to come. The alien commanders, shocked by the power of the relic fleet, began to regroup, planning their next move. The first battle was far from over, but for the first time, Earth had hope. The relic fleet, once thought useless and weak, had proven itself to be a powerful force. The aliens had underestimated humanity, and now they were paying the price. The battle begins. In the vastness of space, the stage was set for a clash unlike anything Earth had ever seen. The relic fleet, once a symbol of a forgotten era, now faced the full might of the alien armada. The alien ships, sleek and glowing, had already shown their intent to conquer Earth. Now, the fight was about to start in earnest. From the command center, the scene unfolded like a high-stakes drama. The large screens showed the alien ships forming their attack formation, weapons charging and ready. The relic fleet, with the Sentinel at its head, was in position, its cannons glowing with readiness. The moment of truth was fast approaching. "Stand by for the first engagement," General Reed said, his voice steady but filled with urgency. He watched the screen where the alien ships were getting closer. Every second counted now. The alien commander, aboard the lead ship of the fleet, gave the order to advance. "Initiate the attack. Crush the human defenses," he commanded. His voice was cold and commanding, showing no sign of the surprise they had just faced. With a synchronized roar, the alien ships fired their first volley. Brilliant beams of energy cut through the darkness of space, heading straight for the human fleet. The light from the weapons was dazzling, a stark contrast to the cold, empty void around them. On the Sentinel, the crew worked quickly, activating the ship's shields and weapons. The ship shuddered slightly as it absorbed the incoming fire. The shields glowed brightly, turning the alien energy into harmless light. "Shields holding steady," reported one of the officers. "Return fire," General Reed ordered. The command center was alive with activity as the technicians and soldiers worked together to make sure every ship was ready. The relic fleet fired back, their weapons roaring to life. The old warships, once silent and idle, now unleashed a barrage of energy beams and missiles. The missiles streaked through space, some hitting their targets while others missed, exploding in bright flashes. The first few alien ships that were struck exploded in massive bursts of fire and debris. The alien fleet, initially confident and aggressive, began to show signs of surprise. The unexpected power of the relic fleet was starting to make a difference. The aliens tried to regroup, their ships maneuvering to avoid the incoming fire. The alien commander's face tightened as he watched the battle unfold. "Redirect all firepower to the leading human vessels," he ordered. "We need to break their formation." As the aliens adjusted their strategy, they focused their weapons on the Sentinel and the surrounding warships. The screen in the command center showed the alien ships concentrating their fire. The human fleet had to respond quickly to avoid being overwhelmed. The Sentinel fired its main cannon again, a massive beam of energy slicing through the darkness. It hit an alien ship dead center, causing it to break apart. The alien fleet's morale began to falter as their ships were picked off one by one. The battle intensified as the alien fleet adjusted its tactics, trying to counter the relentless fire from the relic ships. Some alien ships formed defensive formations, their shields glowing as they absorbed the incoming attacks. Others tried to flank the human fleet, attempting to find a weak spot in the defenses. In the command center, the atmosphere was a mix of tension and excitement. The battle was chaotic, but the human fleet was holding its ground. The initial surprise had been overcome, and the relic ships were proving their worth. "Keep it up," President King encouraged her team. "We're holding them off. We need to keep the pressure on." The battle raged on, with both sides trading blows. The relic fleet's old technology was holding up remarkably well, absorbing and deflecting the alien attacks. The ancient warships, once deemed useless, were now showing that they still had a lot of fight left in them. Despite the intensity of the battle, the relic fleet was starting to push back the alien forces. The alien ships, once so confident, were now struggling to maintain their aggressive assault. The relic fleet's unexpected power was starting to turn the tide. The first stage of the battle was proving to be a brutal test for both sides. The alien fleet had underestimated the power of the human warships, and now the relic fleet was proving that it still had the strength to defend Earth. As the fight continued, the outcome remained uncertain, but one thing was clear: Earth was not going down without a fight. Aliens in shock. The space battle raged on, a chaotic dance of energy and destruction. Above Earth, the relic fleet and the alien armada clashed in a fierce struggle. The aliens, initially so confident of their victory, were beginning to feel the weight of their miscalculation. On the command bridge of the lead alien ship, Commander Zorak watched in stunned disbelief. His eyes widened as he saw the relic warships continuing to hold their ground, their weapons firing relentlessly. The alien ships, once so dominant, were now struggling against the unexpected power of the ancient human fleet. "Status report," Zorak demanded, his voice strained. His officers scrambled to provide updates, their faces reflecting their own shock and worry. "Commander, the human ships are holding strong. Their shields are absorbing our attacks better than anticipated," reported one of the officers. "Their weapons are also more powerful than we estimated." Zorak slammed his fist against the control panel. How could this be? These ships are supposed to be old and outdated. We were told they would be easy to destroy. The alien fleet had planned this invasion for months, believing that Earth's defenses would be weak. They had underestimated the power of the relic fleet, which had been quietly waiting for this very moment. Now, the aliens were paying the price for their arrogance. On the battlefield, the alien ships tried to regroup and adjust their strategy. They concentrated their firepower on the largest and most powerful human ships, hoping to break through the defensive line. But the relic warships continued to defy expectations, their old technology proving to be incredibly resilient. One of the alien officers pointed at a large screen showing the battle. "Commander, the human ships are using coordinated attacks. They're targeting our weaker vessels and picking us off one by one." Zorak's frustration grew. "Send in reinforcements. We need to overwhelm them. Increase the attack intensity and break their formation." The alien fleet moved to execute the new orders. Ships shifted positions, and a new wave of energy blasts surged toward the relic fleet. But despite the increased assault, the human ship's shields held steady. The relic fleet had been prepared for this kind of attack, and their defenses were holding strong. Inside the human command center, the atmosphere was filled with a mixture of tension and cautious optimism. The battle was far from over, but the unexpected strength of the relic fleet had given the humans a crucial advantage. "Keep up the pressure," General Reed commanded. "We need to keep them on the defensive and prevent them from regrouping." The technicians and soldiers worked quickly, ensuring that the relic fleet's systems remained operational and that the ships continued to deliver powerful counterattacks. The relic fleet's weapons fired with precision, targeting alien ships and causing significant damage. As the battle continued, the alien ships' morale began to falter. The once confident invaders were now facing a formidable opponent. The shock of the relic fleet's strength was taking a toll on their confidence. Zorak paced back and forth on the command bridge, trying to come up with a new strategy. "We can't let them win," he muttered. "We need to break through their defenses and secure victory." But the reality was that the alien fleet was struggling. The relic warships, with their old but powerful technology, were holding their ground and inflicting serious damage. The tide of the battle was shifting, and the aliens were beginning to realize that their invasion was not going as planned. In the heat of the battle, the alien commanders exchanged worried glances. The fight was becoming more difficult, and the humans were proving to be a much stronger adversary than anticipated. The initial confidence of the aliens had been replaced by concern and frustration. The first signs of panic began to spread among the alien fleet. Ships that had once moved with precision and purpose now seemed hesitant, their movements more erratic. The shock of the relic fleet's power was causing a ripple effect throughout the alien ranks. Back in the command center, the humans continued to push forward. The relic fleet's unexpected strength had given them a crucial edge, and the aliens were struggling to adapt. As the battle raged on, the outcome remained uncertain, but one thing was clear. The aliens were no longer the unstoppable force they had once seemed. The shock and frustration among the aliens were palpable. Their invasion, once thought to be a guaranteed victory, was now facing a serious challenge. The battle for Earth had only just begun, and the aliens were quickly learning that underestimating humanity was a costly mistake. Human counterattack. The battle above Earth had reached a critical point. The alien fleet, initially confident and aggressive, was now reeling from the unexpected strength of the relic fleet. The tide was turning, and it was time for the humans to seize their chance. In the command center, General Reed watched the screens with intense focus. The alien ships were struggling, and now was the moment to launch a counterattack. The relic fleet had proven its worth, but it was time to push the advantage. "Prepare for a counteroffensive," General Reed ordered. His voice was steady, but there was a sense of urgency in his tone. "We need to hit them hard while they're still disorganized." The technicians and crews sprang into action. The Sentinel and the other relic warships had been holding their ground, but now they needed to take the fight to the aliens. The human fleet began to mobilize, readying their weapons and positioning their ships for the next phase of the battle. On the battlefield, the alien fleet was struggling to regain its composure. The relentless fire from the relic ships had thrown their plans into disarray. Commander Zorak paced angrily on his command bridge, his frustration growing. "Why are we losing ground?" Zorak demanded. "Our forces should be overwhelming them." One of his officers looked at the screens, a worried expression on his face. "The human ships are more coordinated than we expected. They're using their old technology in ways we didn't anticipate." Zorak's eyes narrowed. "We need to regroup and reinforce our front lines. If we can't break their formation, we'll have to fall back and reassess." Back in the human command center, General Reed was ready. "Initiate the counterattack," he said firmly. "Let's show them what we can do." The relic fleet moved into position, and the battle began anew. The human ships, previously on the defensive, now took the fight to the aliens. The Sentinel led the charge, its massive cannons firing with precision. Energy beams and missiles streaked through space, hitting alien ships and causing explosions. The alien fleet, already disorganized, found itself under even greater pressure. The human counterattack was relentless. The relic ships, with their powerful weapons and sturdy shields, pushed forward, targeting the alien vessels with deadly accuracy. On the battlefield, the aliens tried to adapt, but the sudden change in momentum left them scrambling. Alien ships attempted to reposition and form new defensive lines, but the human fleet was relentless. The relic warships pressed their advantage, targeting the weaker points in the alien defenses. In space, the explosions and bright flashes of energy created a chaotic scene. The human ships moved with purpose, their weapons firing in a steady rhythm. Each blast and missile hit an alien target, causing significant damage. The relic fleet was proving that its old technology was still a force to be reckoned with. Inside the alien command ship, Zorak's frustration reached its peak. "Reinforce the sectors under attack," he ordered. "We cannot let them break through our lines." The alien officers scrambled to execute the new orders, but the human counterattack was too intense. The relic fleet's firepower was overwhelming, and the alien defenses were starting to crumble. Alien ships that had once been so confident were now being forced into retreat. As the battle raged on, the human fleet continued to press forward. The Sentinel and the other warships fired with precision, targeting the alien command ship and other key vessels. The relic fleet's unexpected strength was having a significant impact on the outcome of the battle. In the command center, President Kane watched the battle unfold with a mix of hope and determination. "Keep up the pressure," she instructed. "We're turning the tide. Let's not give them a chance to recover. The human counterattack continued, pushing the alien fleet back. The relic warships, once thought to be outdated, were proving to be a decisive factor in the fight. The aliens, once so sure of their victory, were now facing the serious challenge. As the first wave of the counterattack continued, the alien fleet was in full retreat. The humans had seized their opportunity and were driving the invaders back. The battle was far from over, but the relic fleet had shown that it still had the power to defend Earth. The shock of the alien defeat was palpable. Their initial confidence had been shattered, and the relic fleet's counterattack had proven to be a game-changer. The humans were fighting back with everything they had, and the alien invasion was now facing a critical turning point. Aliens retreat. The space battle was reaching a critical turning point. The once mighty alien fleet, which had arrived with such confidence, was now facing a crisis. The relentless counterattack from the human relic fleet had caused serious damage, and the aliens were starting to consider retreat. On the command bridge of the lead alien ship, Commander Zorek's face was a picture of frustration and worry. He paced back and forth, his eyes scanning the screens that showed the deteriorating situation. Alien ships were being destroyed or forced to retreat, and the humans were pressing their advantage. "Status report," Zorek demanded, his voice tight with stress. An officer looked up from the control panel, his face pale. "Commander, we've lost contact with several of our units. Our ships are being pushed back, and their defenses are collapsing. We're taking heavy losses." Zorek's anger boiled over. How did this happen? We underestimated them, and now we're paying the price. He slammed his fist against the panel, causing the room to go silent. The alien fleet, once so unified and aggressive, was now in disarray. Human warships, led by the Sentinel, had pushed through the alien lines with relentless force. The relic fleet's powerful counterattack had turned the tide of the battle, and the alien ships were struggling to hold their positions. In space, the scene was chaotic. Alien ships that had once moved with purpose were now retreating, their formations broken and scattered. The human fleet pursued them, continuing to fire as the aliens tried to escape. General Reed watched the battle unfold with a mix of relief and determination. "Keep the pressure on them," he ordered. "We can't let them regroup. We need to drive them out of our space." The human fleet moved forward with renewed vigor, targeting the retreating alien ships. Missiles and energy beams streaked through space, hitting their marks with precision. The relic warships, though old, were proving to be incredibly effective in this fight. Inside the alien command ship, Zorak was grappling with the realization that the invasion was falling apart. He turned to his officers, his voice filled with desperation. "We need to initiate a full retreat. Pull back all remaining units and fall back to the nearest safe zone." The alien officers quickly relayed the order. Alien ships began to pull away from the battlefront, retreating in a disorganized but determined manner. The once formidable fleet was now in a chaotic scramble to escape the relentless assault from the humans. As the alien ships retreated, the human fleet continued to press their advantage. The Sentinel and the other warships chased after the retreating aliens, targeting any ship that lagged behind. The battle was becoming a pursuit, with the human fleet determined to ensure that the invaders did not return. In the command center, President King watched with cautious optimism. "We've pushed them back," she said, "but let's stay alert. They may try to regroup and come back." The alien retreat was not without its challenges. Some ships were unable to escape and were destroyed in the process. The wreckage of the alien fleet floated in space, a testament to the fierce struggle that had taken place. As the last of the alien ships disappeared from view, the command center erupted in cheers. The humans had managed to turn the tide of the battle and drive the invaders away. The relic fleet, once thought to be obsolete, had proven to be a powerful asset in defending Earth. General Reed took a deep breath, his face showing a mix of relief and satisfaction. "We did it," he said, "but we need to stay vigilant. The aliens may be retreating, but we can't let our guard down. The battle was over, but the war was far from finished. The humans had won a significant victory, but they knew that the aliens might return. For now, though, Earth had held its ground, and the relic fleet had shown that it still had a crucial role to play. As the command center began to wind down from the excitement of the battle, there was a sense of accomplishment and relief. The aliens had retreated, but the human fleet was ready for whatever came next. The battle for Earth had been won, but the fight was not over. Human victory. The space above Earth was quiet once more. The fierce battle between the relic fleet and the alien invaders had finally come to an end. The once chaotic scene was now marked by floating debris and the remnants of the alien armada. The humans had secured a hard-fought victory. In the command center, the mood was a mix of exhaustion and celebration. The staff, who had been working tirelessly throughout the battle, were now beginning to relax. The screens that had shown the intense fighting were now displaying calm, empty space. General Reed stood at the front of the command center, his face showing signs of fatigue, but also pride. "We did it," he said, his voice carrying a sense of relief. "The alien threat has been pushed back." President King approached, offering a firm handshake. "Congratulations, General. Your leadership and the strength of our fleet have made all the difference." Reed nodded, grateful but still focused. It was a team effort. The relic fleet proved to be a powerful asset. We couldn't have done it without them. On the bridge of the Sentinel, the crew shared in the victory. The warship, which had once been considered outdated, had played a crucial role in the defense of Earth. The crew members exchanged smiles and congratulatory pats on the back. Lieutenant Martinez, one of the ship's officers, looked out at the remnants of the alien fleet. "We held our ground. The aliens didn't stand a chance once we got going." Another crew member, Ensign Lee, nodded in agreement. "It was touch and go for a while, but we managed to turn the tide. We've proven that humanity can stand up to any threat." The wreckage of the alien ships floated in space, a clear sign of the intense battle that had taken place. The once mighty alien fleet was now scattered and destroyed. The retreating ships had left behind a trail of debris, marking the end of their invasion attempt. In the command center, President King addressed the team. "Let's take a moment to recognize our victory. The aliens underestimated us, and we've shown that we are not to be taken lightly." The staff applauded, their spirits lifted by the sense of achievement. The victory was not just a military success, but also a significant boost to humanity's confidence. The relic fleet, which had been written off as obsolete, had proven its worth in the most critical of situations. As the celebration continued, General Reed and President King discussed the next steps. "We need to assess the damage and prepare for any potential follow-up," Reed said. "We can't assume this is the end. The aliens may regroup and try again." President King nodded in agreement. "We'll need to stay vigilant and ensure our defenses are ready. But for now, let's take pride in what we've accomplished. This is a significant victory for Earth." In the aftermath of the battle, the human fleet began to conduct salvage operations. The wreckage of the alien ships was carefully examined for any valuable information. The victory had given Earth a chance to learn more about the invaders and prepare for future threats. The relic fleet, having proven its strength, was hailed as a symbol of humanity's resilience. The old warships, once seen as relics of a bygone era, had become heroes in their own right. The victory was a testament to the fact that even old technology could be incredibly effective in the right hands. As the days went by, the story of the battle spread across Earth. News reports and broadcasts celebrated the victory, highlighting the bravery of the human forces and the surprising strength of the relic fleet. The battle had united people and given them a renewed sense of hope and determination. In the end, the victory was more than just a military success. It was a reminder that humanity, when united and determined, could overcome even the most formidable challenges. The aliens had come with the intent to conquer, but they had underestimated Earth's ability to fight back. The battle for Earth was over, and the humans had emerged victorious. The relic fleet had proven that it still had a crucial role to play in defending the planet. The victory was celebrated across the world, and the message was clear. Humanity was strong, resilient, and ready to face whatever came next.